Imagine living without electricity. Scary, right? For most of us, it feels unthinkable. We rely on it for everything, powering our homes, keeping leftovers fresh, and making sure our favorite ice cream stays frozen. But for the Amish, life without electricity isn't a challenge. It's just how they live. They've mastered the art of preserving meat without a single spark of electricity. Using techniques passed down through generations, their methods are so effective, they might even outshine your modern freezer. In a world full of gadgets and high-tech solutions, the Amish stand apart. No fancy tools, no refrigeration, just simple, time-tested practices that define their self-sufficient way of life. And when it comes to preserving meat, they've perfected the craft. Think meat without electricity sounds bland or dry? Think again. Let's dive into the fascinating world of Amish preservation and uncover their timeless secrets. For centuries, salt has been humanity's most trusted tool for food preservation, and the Amish have turned this age-old technique into an art form. When it comes to keeping meat fresh, salt serves as nature's ultimate preservative. The Amish have perfected its use, employing it to draw out moisture from the meat, a crucial step in preventing bacteria growth. In the battle of meat preservation, moisture is the enemy and salt is the hero that steps in to save the day. The Amish approach salting with a level of precision and care that resembles a time-honored ritual. It starts with a careful selection of cuts, whether it's pork, beef, or even chicken. Once chosen, the real work begins. Salt is applied liberally, rubbed into every surface and crevice to ensure no area is left untreated. This process is far from haphazard. It's almost like giving the meat a luxurious spa treatment, just without the cucumber slices. But salting isn't just about drying the meat. There's a science to it. The salt draws out moisture, creating an environment that bacteria cannot survive in. At the same time, the salt infuses the meat with a rich, savory flavor, enhancing its natural taste. This dual-purpose method not only keeps the meat safe from spoilage, but also makes it even more delicious. The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity. While most of us depend on modern refrigeration, the Amish allow salt to do the heavy lifting. The result is meat that lasts longer and develops a deeper, more complex flavor that simply cannot be replicated in frozen alternatives. However, the Amish understand that salting alone may not be enough to ensure long-term preservation, especially in changing weather conditions or during transport. That's why this method is often paired with others, creating layers of protection that ensure the meat's longevity. This combination of tradition, skill, and ingenuity allows the Amish to preserve meat in a way that's both practical and delicious, standing the test of time for generations. When it comes to preserving meat, smoking is a game changer. It does much more than just infuse that irresistible, savory flavor we all crave. Smoking is a powerful preservation technique, and the Amish have truly mastered it. By using smoke to further dehydrate meat, they ensure that it lasts far beyond the lifespan of fresh cuts. Step into any Amish kitchen, and you'll likely find smoked hams, sausages, and bacon hanging proudly from the rafters, all lovingly prepared with care and precision. The smoking process is not just a way to add flavor, it's a method that creates an environment where harmful bacteria struggle to survive. The combination of heat, smoke, and reduced moisture works in harmony to create a hostile zone for unwanted microorganisms, making it the perfect preservation tool. Interestingly, smoking can extend the shelf life of meat by months. When done right, it can preserve the flavor and texture for up to an entire year. Imagine having perfectly preserved, smoky meat sitting in your pantry, ready for the next family feast. This technique is not about tossing meat into a smoky pit and hoping for the best. It's a tradition, passed down through generations, filled with skill, patience, and a deep respect for the art of food preservation. Of course, the Amish are practical and know that wood isn't always in endless supply. While they have perfected the art of smoking, they also use other preservation methods, offering variety and flexibility. Whether they're using salt, smoking, or another trick up their sleeves, the Amish continue to prove that preserving meat is a science and a tradition that stood the test of time. Sugar curing is a preservation technique that blends the sweetness of sugar with the preserving power of salt, creating a unique and delicious flavor combination. This method is especially popular for hams and bacon, transforming them into savory sweet delights that are truly special. The process is simple, yet highly effective, and the Amish have mastered it over generations. To begin, the Amish mix sugar with salt and rub it generously onto the meat. This combination helps to draw out moisture, much like salt alone, creating an ideal environment for preservation. But unlike basic salt curing, sugar adds a distinctive sweetness that elevates the flavor profile of the meat. This creates a mouth-watering sweetness, while also allowing the meat to stay fresh for long periods, especially useful when preparing for the colder months. It's like receiving a warm culinary hug on a cold day. Sugar curing isn't a new technique. In fact, it has been used for centuries. Its roots trace back to when people discovered that sugar could do more than sweeten beverages. It could actually help preserve food. The Amish have refined this ancient practice over time, resulting in delicious meats that can last for months if stored in the right conditions. The key to sugar curing is finding the perfect balance between sugar and salt. Too much sugar, and the meat could taste more like dessert than dinner. Too little sugar, and the sweetness is lost. The Amish have perfected this balance, ensuring every bite delivers a rich, flavorful experience. While sugar curing is most commonly used on hams and bacon, it can also be applied to other cuts of meat, such as pork loin or even beef, opening up a world of flavors. When it comes to preserving meat, the Amish turn to another powerhouse ingredient, vinegar. This tangy liquid isn't just for salad dressings or cleaning. Its high acidity creates an environment where bacteria struggle to thrive, making it an ideal choice for pickling meats. The Amish often rely on vinegar brines to preserve sausages, fish, and other meats, infusing them with a bold, tangy flavor that dances on your taste buds. Vinegar brining is not just about extending the shelf life of meat, it also enhances its taste. The process is simple yet effective. The Amish mix vinegar with a variety of spices, herbs, and sometimes even a touch of sugar to create a brine that elevates the natural flavors of their meats. This brine allows the vinegar to penetrate deeply, helping to maintain moisture while warding off unwanted bacteria. In essence, vinegar doesn't just preserve the meat, it gives it an entirely new flavor profile. Vinegar brining is a remarkably versatile technique. The Amish can tailor their brines by using different types of vinegar, such as apple cider or white vinegar, each bringing its own unique flavor. They can also adjust the spices to complement the meat, with common additions like dill, garlic, peppercorns, and even mustard seeds. This allows them to create a brine that perfectly matches the specific meat they're preserving, resulting in a flavorful, complex product that's far from boring. However, vinegar brining does have its quirks. The high acidity can be overpowering if not balanced correctly, so the Amish are very careful in their approach. Too much vinegar, and the meat could turn into a tangy disaster. Finding the right balance is key to creating a brine that enhances the meat without overwhelming its flavor. The Amish have perfected this art over time, guided by tradition and experience. When properly prepared, vinegar-brined meats can last for several weeks in the fridge, making them a staple in Amish households. These preserved meats are often used in hearty dishes like casseroles or sandwiches, where their tangy, bold flavor truly shines. The beauty of vinegar brining lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. It not only preserves the meat, but also elevates its taste, creating a memorable dining experience with every bite. Rendering lard may sound like an old-fashioned technique to some, but for the Amish, it's a tradition that's not only practical, but essential. This time-honored method involves slowly heating animal fat until it melts, separating the liquid lard from the solid bits. Once the fat is fully melted, the resulting liquid can be poured over cooked meats, creating a thick layer that seals in flavor and freshness. But this method does much more than just add richness. It helps preserve the meat. By encasing the meat in rendered lard, the Amish create an airtight seal that keeps spoilage at bay for months. It acts like a culinary time capsule, preserving both the taste and texture of the meat while preventing bacteria from taking hold. When stored in a cool, dry place, rendered lard can keep food fresh for 6 months or more. This technique showcases the Amish's resourcefulness and their ability to utilize every part of the animal, ensuring nothing goes to waste. Rendering lard is a straightforward process, but it does require patience. The fat must first be cut into small pieces to melt evenly. Then it's slowly heated over low heat, allowing it to render without burning. The result is a beautiful golden liquid that's ready to be used for preserving meats. The leftover solid bits are called cracklings, and they're delicious in their own right, often eaten as a snack. Interestingly, lard was once the go-to cooking fat before vegetable oils took over. It's high in monounsaturated fats, which are healthier than the trans fats found in many processed foods today. Yet lard still carries a bad reputation due to modern health trends. Despite this, the Amish continue to embrace its benefits, passing the tradition down through generations. This technique demonstrates not only the Amish's culinary expertise, but also their commitment to sustainability. By using every part of the animal, they align their food preservation practices with their values of simplicity and self-sufficiency. There's something endearing about sealing in flavors with rendered fat instead of plastic wrap. In the Amish way of life, every tool, every corner of the home has a purpose, even the root cellar, which plays a key role in preserving cured meats. When winter arrives in Amish country, a seasonal method of meat preservation is put to use that is as simple as it is brilliant: outdoor freezing. With temperatures dropping well below freezing, the cold air becomes a natural ally in keeping meat fresh. Imagine a large chunk of meat carefully prepared and laid out in the frigid air, essentially turning the backyard into a giant freezer. It's like having a personal snowbox where there's no worry about electricity bills. The Amish have long understood the power of nature, using the biting cold temperatures to their advantage. After a successful butchering season, families often hang their larger cuts of meat outside. The cold air helps preserve the meat for weeks, sometimes even months, making it a reliable method for long-term storage. It's a practical solution that allows the Amish to make the most of the colder months. Too much snow or rain can affect the quality of the meat, so they often cover their outdoor meat storage with burlap or other breathable materials. This ensures the meat stays dry while still benefiting from the cold air. What's even more fascinating is how freezing meat at extremely low temperatures actually improves its texture and flavor. The ice crystals that form during freezing help break down some of the muscle fibers, resulting in more tender meat when it's finally cooked. It's like a natural marinade, courtesy of Mother Nature herself. What's truly remarkable is how the Amish integrate outdoor freezing into their daily lives. They plan ahead for winter, ensuring they have enough supplies to last through the colder months. It's not just about preservation, it's about self-sufficiency and resourcefulness, making the most of what nature provides. Drying meat is a timeless tradition, and the Amish have mastered this age-old technique. It's all about removing moisture from the meat, which inhibits bacteria growth and extends its shelf life. But drying meat isn't just about preservation, it's an art form. The Amish know how to balance the right temperature and humidity. They often hang their meat in well-ventilated barns or outdoors on warm, sunny days, letting the natural elements work their magic. With the right conditions, they achieve perfectly dried meat, ready for snacking, cooking, or even gifting to friends and family. What's fascinating is that dried meat can also be rehydrated for soups and stews, making it a versatile option for meals. The Amish have their own version of meat multitasking, jerky that doubles as both a quick snack and an ingredient for hearty meals. The Amish jerky is unlike the tough, nearly inedible versions you might find elsewhere. It's perfectly seasoned, full of flavor, and chewy in just the right way. You can almost hear your taste buds dancing with delight as you bite into it. It's the perfect balance of flavor and texture, making it the ultimate snack or addition to any dish. When most people think about food preservation, they picture jars of jam or fresh fruits neatly lined up in a pantry, but the Amish have taken food preservation to a whole new level with pressure canning, particularly when it comes to meats. They've perfected a method that allows them to seal meat in jars, ensuring it remains safe and tasty for years. It's like having a secret weapon for dinner, no more last-minute trips to the store for supplies. Pressure canning is more than just preserving fruits and vegetables. It's a life hack for meat lovers. By sealing meat in jars and cooking it under high pressure, the Amish create an airtight environment that kills bacteria and ensures long-lasting preservation. This approach is particularly practical for large families or during harvest time when there's an abundance of meat to process. The amazing part is that properly canned meat can last anywhere from 3 to 5 years when stored in cool conditions. While most of us are constantly checking expiration dates, the Amish rest easy with their canned goods, knowing that a meal is just a twist of the lid away. The pressure canning process is quite remarkable. The Amish begin by prepping the meat, filling the jars, and placing them in a pressure cooker. As the temperature rises, it creates an environment that preserves the meat while locking in its flavors. One moment, you have raw meat. The next, you have a jar of hearty beef stew ready to go at a moment's notice. What sets the Amish apart is how they've turned canning into an art form. It's not just about preserving food, it's about tradition, family, and sharing their heritage. Families gather to exchange tips, recipes, and stories as they work together. While pressure canning ensures a long-term supply of meat, the Amish have even more ingenious methods tucked away, especially for the cold winter months. When you hear the word pemmican, you might think of a trendy new health food, but let me tell you, this is the real deal. Pemmican is an ancient recipe that dates back to Native American traditions, and the Amish have perfected it. It's made by blending dried meat, rendered fat, and sometimes even berries, a powerful energy source that's perfect for long-term storage. What makes pemmican so fantastic is its combination of dried meat and rendered fat. Together, they create a long-lasting energy source that's compact, shelf-stable, and full of protein and healthy fats. It's like packing a camping trip's worth of nutrition into a single bite. Whether you're out in the field, hiking, or simply need a snack that'll sustain you for hours, a piece of pemmican is there to fuel you. Properly stored pemmican can last for years without spoiling, especially if kept in a cool, dry place. It's packed with energy and keeps you going even in the toughest conditions. While you won't find pemmican on the menu at your local restaurant, if the world ever goes sideways, you'll wish your pantry was stocked with this essential survival food. The Amish often add berries to their pemmican, which adds a hint of sweetness and boosts the nutritional value of vitamins. The Amish know the perfect balance, ensuring every batch is nutritious and flavorful. The Amish show us that you don't need modern appliances to preserve food. Their methods are timeless, practical, and a little bit magical. In a world that often prioritizes convenience over tradition, the Amish remind us that sometimes the old ways are the best.